Whew. Yes, we have another episode. We're back from the weekend. The Sports Bag Bros podcast is back at you. And there's always something to talk about. College football is over, but college football really isn't over because it's just about to begin. Bowl season is coming up. The NFL is still on fire. I mean, even if you look at it throughout all of sports, you still have baseball making serious news with Otani. Come on now, that kind of money. Man, boxing this past weekend, a lot of things going on. So we're just going to get into it. What's going on now?
Well, let me take care of business. On Thursday, I said if Dak plays well and the Cowboys play well, I'll have to apologize. So apologies to Dak Prescott and the Dallas Cowboys and Cowboy Nation. I was wrong. I talked a lot of smack saying he's going to come back down to earth, but they dominated the Eagles, took them out back. And if anything, the Eagles should be concerned because that's 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah. And you know what? With Dak, it's better late than never because he's finally starting to look like the quarterback that he was probably expected to be in terms of being a very good quarterback. Now, being even better than a very good quarterback, that's still yet to be seen, but he's in the right trajectory now this late in his career. You know, when he was drafted, I think he was a third or fourth rounder, and I saw him at Mississippi State. I thought he was a good quarterback down there. But when they brought him into Dallas, I was like, okay, he'll be one of those serviceable kind of quarterbacks. But he was smart. So when he got in, I was like, it might be a little bit of that kind of Russell Wilson action thing. And he gets in, he does okay, but he never really gets over the hump. I think now, after all these years, the team is around him. They're looking like they're at the right point in the team right now this season. It looks like Dak Prescott may be one of those very good quarterbacks so far.
I still don't think they'll go into San Francisco and come out with the dub, but that doesn't mean that he'll be the reason they lose.
Yeah, exactly. And that's true. But I mean, he's been looking better in his own, and not only has been like a week or 2 or 3 or 4, he's put together a string of good games. Even in a loss, he's still looking pretty solid. And like you said, he wasn't the reason for the loss in some of these losses. But now when he's going, the rest of the team is going along with him, and they're winning. Now, Philadelphia, are they coming down to earth, or is Dallas really that much better because Dak is that much more consistent now than he's been in the past?
Well, it could be a couple of things. One, Dallas was at home. When they went to Philly, it was a much different outcome, right? And Dak did not play that well in that game. So I'm sure that helps. And then 2, as far as the Eagles are concerned, they've been struggling against average teams. They went into overtime with the Commanders, I think it was.
Yeah. The division game.
Yeah, but still the Commanders.
Yeah.
They really haven't been a juggernaut. So maybe they were a little bit overrated.
I think so.
But they do have the easiest schedule going forward. So those tiebreakers are going to be real interesting. They may win their next 4 games.
Now, when it comes to Philadelphia, you look at the quarterback position, Jalen Hurts, never really given the respect last season until he finally deserved the respect, and they gave him a paycheck, a big bump in his pay to show how much they respected him as a team. He goes into this season. I think when you look at his overall numbers, and I don't think this is one of those ridiculous seasons to where you could look at a quarterback's numbers and it won't tell the story. And with him, you can look at his numbers and it doesn't exactly tell the stories because I see some of his numbers, and in some way, he reminds me a lot of what we've been talking about with Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence doesn't put up these ridiculous numbers. He throws a touchdown or 2, but the team still wins by a lot. They have their own issues now. But with Jalen Hurts, he's been doing a lot of the same. He had 1 game this season in which he threw 4 touchdowns. Of course, he looked great in that game, but he's been putting up 200 yards, close to 300 yards. In yesterday's game, 197 yards, but he's been getting 1 touchdown, 2 touchdowns, and the Eagles were kind of going along until just recently.
Yeah, and I think 2 things they really need to be concerned about was the physicality. Dallas was out there banging, and they didn't match their intensity. They did not match their physicality. You could say they got punked. They got punked last night.
Well, when they get beat like that, you drop 33 on them. And Dallas, you look at the old NFC East battles they had, even when the Arizona Cardinals were there, those NFC East battles were always legendary. But when you got to that northeastern side, that eastern seaboard side, when you had not the Dallas Cowboys, but you had the Giants and the Washington Redskins back then, Commanders now, and the Philadelphia Eagles, it was always a battle. Dallas was always the battle because they were the Dallas Cowboys, allegedly America's team. But now you still have these teams like Philadelphia struggling with the Commanders, but it's still the NFC East. They still bang it out when they need to bang it out. It's just that the Eagles.
When you think the Eagles, you think defense.
Yeah.
That defense just got sliced and diced 2 weeks in a row. The 49ers were going up and down that wheel. They gave little resistance to the Cowboys last night.
Now, I'm wondering with this
problems in Philly with that defense.
With this Philadelphia Eagles defense, I think a whole lot defense when it comes down to what they did last season. I think they're still in the beginning of this season, and even till now, some people may still look at what happened last season with the defense. You took out Javon Hargrave, who's doing his thing now in San Francisco, and they're not really doing that much, not the numbers they were putting up before, but they're getting after the quarterback, but not in the numbers they were doing last year, because even the interior guys like Hargrave was getting after big time. I think he had 11 sacks last season. I mean, and from the inside, those are Warren Sapp kind of numbers from a defensive tackle.
Yeah, but Jalen Carter's playing well. It just seemed like Hassan Riddick was non-existent last night. Like they were not getting a lot of pressure on Dak, and they were not slowing down the run at all.
Now, the one thing Dak can do, he can slice you and dice you from those short passes and intermediate passes. Now that he has CD Lamb, he can get the ball downfield and CD will go after the ball. Or he can hit him on the slant and he'll still break the big play, because he's that kind of player. I think the Dallas Cowboys now is a team in contention. I don't think jumping the gun, just seeing what they've done and the consistency they've had over the past several weeks now proves that this team is probably here to stay and they're looking to be a problem. I'm still thinking San Francisco, the way they've been playing. I mean, they've been a machine. And as you said, going out to San Francisco, trying to beat them out there with something on the line, it's hard pressed to do so, even if Dak is at his best.
It's a tall task.
Yeah.
But had they lost that game last night, their psyche would be much different.
Yeah, that's true.
Like I said, they punked the Eagles last night. So their psyche right now, it's trending way up.
Yeah.
So stranger things have happened. You go in there with the defense travels. If Micah Parsons goes off and he's in the backfield chasing Purdy for his life all day long, he can cause problems. But, they already played and the 49ers kind of handled them. But rematches don't always turn out the same way.
No way, especially the closer you get towards the end of the season and there's more to work towards or there's more on the line, there's more at stake. And I'll tell you, yesterday with the Seattle Seahawks, they gave the 49ers a few problems in the early going, but, it's a 4-quarter game. But they were getting after Brock Purdy for a while. I was going to say, no, not Brock, but Josh. But Brock Purdy, they'll get after him for a while until everything kind of settled down and Deebo Samuel just kind of went off, man. That guy's such with the ball in his hand. Christian McCaffrey is the dynamic player on their team. The problem is you have two dynamic players on the team. There was one play yesterday. They had both of those guys in the backfield. Pick your poison, man. And there was anything you could do about it. And McCaffrey was the one who got I think Samuel was the one who got the ball, just cruised on into the end zone. They have everything. It reminds me so much of what they had in the 80s when they did have Brent Jones at tight end. And then they had, Rathman and Craig and all the other big names we know were Taylor and Rice. Right now, they don't have all of those pieces, but damn, what they have right now is working, and it's working big time.
Yeah, they can really spread the field and get guys in space. And as you mentioned, those guys are dangerous. You get Deebo or McCaffrey in space, they can go a long way.
Oh, man, that damn Deebo. McCaffrey, even though he gets respect, he still doesn't get enough respect. If you just watch him play, it's poetic. The guy just slides around, man. And then before you know it, he's got 7 yards. He slides around. I'm not going to say moving around like Barry Sanders, but when this guy moves, it doesn't look like he's, it looks like he is just kind of smoothly going through the creases, not even being a slasher, just hitting the hole. And then he has 7 yards. He has 8 yards. He may get a loss, but this guy's almost always going forward. And then you have to worry about him catching out of the backfield, being a pain in the butt that way. But this 49ers team is going to be tough to play against. But this Dallas team may be up to the task if they can keep this up. It looks like the only thing these two teams can do if they meet when it matters most is put up an excellent game. I don't think there could be a bad game between these two if they were to meet up with everything on the line outside of a Super Bowl just for their division.
Yeah, we'll see. Outside of the Super Bowl, I saw someone's prediction for the Super Bowl. 49ers 35, Cowboys 32. I just kept scrolling. Man.
Seriously?
Yeah, I just kept scrolling. I'm like, why did I don't know what page it was on or who the admins are. Why would they allow that? Why? You know how stupid it is. Do not allow that. I would not allow that on our page.
Oh, nah. Not even a troll like that, man. Not even a troll.
I'd be like, sorry, I can't post that. You must rethink your comment.
But you know what? We're in an age, especially with social media, where people are more interested in the quantity of the players and not the quality of the members of their group. I mean, you've seen so many people. We got 100,000 people in our group, and they're just happy to have all this BS going back and forth, and they're not even moderating the group to where it's taken seriously. But then you have smaller groups who could focus on that smaller crew, but a lot of time that smaller crew is coming with legitimate things and real talking points that really matter.
At times it's like sixth graders in the playground.
Somebody needs to get put in the sandbox or hit with the bucket or something. This doesn't make any sense. You know what? And this is actually a segue when things don't make sense. How the hell did Zach Wilson play the way he did yesterday?
300 plus yards.
Bro, get out of here with that.
You gotta play the Lamborghini sound or something.
Bro, I don't have a sound effect for him. I just don't. Not even crowd noise or fake ovation.
Yeah, and not only that, the Bears dominated the Lions.
Man, that's another thing. What's going on yesterday?
I don't know.
Seriously.
Crazy day in the NFL, man.
You watched Justin Fields yesterday. How good did he look, or was it just they were just in the floor as a team?
He looked decent. I told you, I already made up my mind. Now he has one more year left on his deal.
Yeah.
So the Bears can keep him another year, but I still say they should draft a quarterback just in case. He has improving. I mean, he has shown improvement. He seems to be getting a little better every week, but it's not like he's made giant strides to convince at least me that he's the guy. You know what I mean? But he has shown improvement, and he had 0 turnovers yesterday, so that's good because that's where he lost me. Like, he had 2 touchdowns and he threw for 200-some yards or whatever, but he had 2 picks and a fumble. You can't give the ball up. I don't care what your numbers are. You cannot give the ball up 3 times. And that was the week when I said I'm done with him because he gives it up way too much. Yesterday he had a fumble, but the play didn't count.
All right, but damn, it seems like he still does it. And when the play does count, it may be
or his knee was down or something. Yeah, I think his knee was down. They stripped it just after his knee hit, but it was close. He was out scrambling again, got tackled, ball came out. I was like, see, that's why I'm done. But then they looked at it, they called him down, and he was down. I'm like, but it was this close.
But you know it's going to happen again. You know it's going to happen again probably in the near future. But now you're talking about they need to go get a quarterback in the draft. Now, who is that quarterback going to be? Our newest Heisman Trophy winner? Would that be a nice fit in Chicago?
Well, you know, I've been saying it for at least 3 to 4 weeks. That's the guy I want. It looks like they're going to get the Carolina pick number 1.
Yeah.
Take Harrison, or if number 3 has their eyes set on somebody and they want it bad, maybe trade down to 3 and you know, accumulate draft commodities. And then maybe you can still take Harrison because more than likely those first 2 teams are taking quarterbacks.
Now, there's been news out there that Marvin Harrison Jr. from Ohio State
$20 million
staying in college. Right. I mean, this is before the evaluation came out about his money that he may get as an NIL deal. But if he does, he's going to get more probably right there than he's going to get as an NFL player in his first season, at least. You know, that $20 million that they're saying, $20+ million they're talking about. And I don't know, you know, a lot of times these players who are taken, if they're underclassmen, they don't necessarily have to come out because the old story of these other players or even basketball players, I'm coming out because I need to help my family. I need to do this and that. They don't have the money. This guy does have the money. He's Marvin Harrison Sr.'s son. You know, he went to the private school. He did the whole thing coming up that way in Jersey, did his thing. And he doesn't necessarily need the money. Now, it's not like a couple of dollars here and there we're talking about. If he goes to the pros and he's the number one pick overall, there's millions there. If he stays now in college the way things are, there are several millions there. I mean, he has
I just saw a report that he could get a $20 million deal to stay at Ohio State.
An NIL deal, yeah.
And I was thinking about that. Like, if I could have been the top 3 pick and I can stay in school or go to the NFL. Now, me personally, like, man, I don't want to go to class no more. Like, you know what I'm saying? If I can get a $60 million contract in the NFL or whatever, I don't know what the rookie scale is, but and be a grown up instead of going to school, writing papers, listening to lectures. Yeah, man, I'm going pro.
Yeah, that's probably the case, especially in college, unless you're Andy Katzenmoyer, the old Ohio State linebacker who had these bogus classes that kept him eligible to play. I know these Ohio State fans who get to this point in this show won't like to hear it, but that's what happened. But
depends on his workload, I guess. You know, if they give
what, Marvin, look, when you get to the NFL, first of all,
web design or podcasts.
Web design is serious though, especially in the world we live in now. Web design is something you can make some serious money with, and it requires some intelligence to be able to do it. You know, I mean, shoot, that's
I took a web design class. It wasn't very difficult, so that's what I'm relating it to.
Well, Andy Katzenmoyer had an AIDS awareness class and golf. Bro, come on now.
AIDS awareness. What did they do?
He was aware AIDS existed.
Pass out condoms. There you go. Now you're aware.
You know what I'm saying? He was aware AIDS existed in this world. Here's your A, Andy. AIDS for Andy. But anyways, yeah, but I think it's a Marvin Harrison Jr. being the first pick overall is definitely something that could happen. But now Jaden Daniels playing the way he has with the combine coming up. I mean,
it's going to be real interesting because you always hear Caleb Williams. If not Williams, then Drake May. I don't want either one of those guys. But we have to see what happens at the combine. You know, certain franchises fall in love with certain guys. And that's what I'm thinking. You know, maybe Caleb Williams goes and has an outstanding combine and interviews Wells with GMs or whatever. And maybe number 4 really wants him. Well, let's trade down.
Well, with Caleb Williams, I'm wondering how good he really is. Not that I wasn't impressed with what he's done. I mean, the guy's put up tremendous numbers regardless of where he was. In Oklahoma, then he goes to USC, puts up tremendous numbers, and wins a Heisman there. Lincoln Riley was his coach, though, at both spots. He won't be his coach in the NFL. And I can't use USC quarterbacks never really work out in the NFL because he's a USC quarterback in today's climate. You know, a USC quarterback for this season, but not the season before, you know, that kind of thing, or 2 seasons now, 1 season in Oklahoma, it's not the same anymore. You know, when you had these guys who were incumbents, guys like Matt Leinart and Carson Palmer, you know, being already at USC, coming from high school to USC, not transferring in. Now, I think Caleb Williams, I'm thinking the way Jaden Daniels looked and the way I've seen him play against better competition, that guy was legit. He completely did the opposite of what I was expecting going into the season.
Yeah, that's what I'm afraid of, that he won't be around at 4 or 5, right?
Yeah, no, he probably won't.
Yeah, that's what I'm afraid of. But we'll have to see how things shake out. But, you know, there's more NFL we got to talk about.
Oh, yeah, absolutely more NFL. I mean, what about these Kansas City Chiefs, man? What's going on here, man? Bro, they're not the de facto champs or the de facto leaders of the AFC anymore.
Yeah, the Broncos are just 1 game behind them now.
Yeah, the Broncos, bro. Come on now.
That wide receiver room is just killing them, man. And you know, you got Mahomes whining, you got Reed crying. Come on, man. It was not the ref's fault. First of all, it was first down when they called the offensive offsides. But let's start at the very beginning. Watching that play, I know if you watch enough football, you know, hey, that dude's offsides.
Yeah.
You're watching the play before it snapped. That guy's offsides. Snap the ball. You see the flag going there.
Right up.
They call it offsides. And then the great play happens. But if you're watching and you saw that flag go up, you know what it's for. Tony was offsides, and he goes down. He catches the pass. Man, that pass from Kelsey though, dude, perfect spiral,
bro.
Man, why isn't he a quarterback?
Practice squad quarterback.
That throw was a BB, man, right on the money. And Tony's known for dropping passes. It hit him right where he couldn't drop it. He had no choice but to catch it and run it in. But come on, man. You're crying because a ref threw a flag
He made the right call.
A legit call, right? It's not like, oh, he maybe held him or the guy tripped and it looked like he held him and they called holding. It was a bogus. There was nothing subjective about it. He was blocking the ref's view of the football.
So he's already automatically done.
I was watching the game. I'm like, that dude's offsides. I saw the flag go up. I'm like, whatever happens, oh, nice catch, Kelsey. Oh, shit. Oh, man, too bad it ain't going to count. I knew he was running it in, but I knew it wasn't going to count. I don't understand what people are up in arms about. You should have known it wasn't going to count because you saw with your own eyes Tony lined up offsides.
How many times has Tony been a pain in their ass all season? Oh, my God. This guy, from the first game till now, just, man, it's hard to believe he could even be there after this season.
But Mahomes talking about, in elementary school, this and that. I coached Pop Warner for 7 years. Our wide receivers knew when they lined up, look to the referee, and you either tell them you're on or you're off.
Yep.
And the ref would be like, hey, you're good there, or back up, or you can move up a little bit. I was screaming at our wide receiver, back up, back up. Ref says, Coach, he's good there. He's good. I was like, okay. If you're communicating with the referee will tell you.
Yep, he will.
But if you line up and you don't look out to the ref, hey, am I good here? You expect the referee to yell from 30 yards away, hey, Tony, hey, you're outside, back up.
Coach, man.
Get real, man. Get out of here with that bogus bullshit. He was offsides. You expect the ref to run away. He's supposed to come running in, waving his, hey, back up, back up. Okay, now you can snap it. Man, it's ridiculous. People just whining. It was first down. It was first down. They had 3 more plays. On second down, he was getting sacked. He got rid of it. Good job. You got rid of it. You didn't take the sack. Third down, ball got tipped, knocked away. Fourth down, he's under pressure. He just throws it downfield, hoping somebody catches it. Then when it lands incomplete, now he wants to go and yell at the referee. You had 3 downs to do something, and you got 0 yards. Get out of here, man. Quit crying.
Yeah, but now is Mahomes still the darling now?
That's the thing about it. That's what's so disappointing. You never saw that side of Mahomes. And now when a little adversity hits, now he's turning into a crybaby.
Yeah.
This is how you react to adversity. You're gonna be a whiner. Not that Tony's dropped or your receivers had dropped 33 passes. That's not the issue. It's the referee's fault. Come on, man. The referee didn't make him line up all sides.
Yeah. I can't believe it's as big a story as it is right now for the wrong reasons. They're complaining about the ref making the right call. They're not even complaining about everything else. It's the ref making the right call. And they can't even justify why they're upset. They just know, why did that happen? Why did they let the play go? You don't know how football works. They're going to throw that flag. If the guy's already offsides, they're going to throw the flag anyways once the play starts.
Right.
And then you got
but they're talking like they got screwed. Like they saw the play happen, they scored a touchdown. Oh no, let's throw the flag. Tony lined up off sides. They threw the flag as soon as the ball was snapped.
Yep.
It's not like they decided, oh, let's screw them here. They're gonna score. We gotta stop it. No, the referee's not psychic. He doesn't know what's gonna happen. It's bogus, man.
Yep. So now Kansas City, look, Denver. Bro, Sean Payton closed his mouth. The team keeps winning. Russell Wilson playing. He doesn't even have to play great. He just has to be a solid quarterback. And now they're 1 game behind Kansas City. And you look at, I was talking earlier about the numbers and looking at quarterbacks' numbers, and it's just not telling the story. You look at Justin Herbert's numbers, and it's certainly not telling the story. His team is terrible.
Didn't he go down yesterday?
Huh?
Didn't he go down yesterday?
I think he did go down yesterday.
CJ Stroud has a concussion too.
Woo.
That's
But you
bad
know what,
for
though?
him.
Going back to that Jets game, the Jets defense is who we thought they were going into the season. One of the best defenses in the NFL with the potential to be the best defense. But the offense is giving them the ball to me, well, losing the ball too often or too quickly to where the defense can't get that rest that they need. Yesterday, for some crazy reason outside of the norm, Zach Wilson puts up all of those yards and looks like a quarterback that's been in the league for a little bit of time, more than just going to practice for a day and then trying to play a game on Sunday. And the defense was able to get their rest, do everything that they're supposed to do naturally, and they performed. CJ Stroud looked like the rookie that he is yesterday against them.
Yeah,
I've seen enough of him this year to know this guy's a special quarterback now. But if the Jets defense is playing like that, when they actually have some offensive output, it's only going to get people pissed off because they're pretty much still out of the playoffs unless they can put together a string of wins throughout the rest of the season. But I don't see Zach Wilson doing that again. What will you do for an encore? How about not having an encore? Because that's the Zach Wilson story.
Well, that remains to be seen. But how about the Bengals and Browning, man? They're not missing a beat without
You know
Joe
what?
Cool.
I think didn't we talk about that last week? That if he could keep it up, man, you might have to start putting them back into the discussion.
2 weeks in a row. 2 weeks in a row.
Because after what they did to the Jaguars, and now the Jaguars seem to be heading down, I don't think it's all about Trevor Lawrence's ankle injury. I think it's all about Trevor Lawrence kind of regressing from last season. He has not taken that step forward. And I've watched these games, and I'm looking for him to just do something. And I don't think it's overall the numbers like I've said throughout the season. I've been saying, he hasn't put up the 300-yard games or the 4 touchdowns like Tua down in Miami. He's been getting it done with 1 and 2 touchdowns. But, man, this guy, if you watch the games, the overthrows, the missed calls, the missed throws, all those things, you're like, wow. I'm expecting a little bit more from him, man. Now the ankles, I think that only doesn't allow him to run effectively like he had done. But the Jaguars, 2 losses in a row now.
Yeah, what's up with that division?
Well, I don't know.
It's like nobody wants it. Like they were looking good for a few weeks, but again, yesterday was a wild day.
Everybody lost in the NFC.
You got the Vikings. I thought the Bears and Vikings was bad. The Raiders and Vikings 3-0.
3-0, man. Come on.
Gosh.
God.
Man, it was almost a miracle they avoided overtime.
3-0, bro. Oh my God. You don't even have to watch the game to know how bad a game had to be.
But hold on, I got a message to Jared Goff and the Lions coach. I can't remember his name, Dan something, right? They're talking. Hey, give the Bears credit. They're a good team over there, and blah blah. They are not a good team. I don't care. They should have beat you the first time. They dominated you yesterday. The Bears are not a good team. You just are not as good as you think you are. And I've been saying it all year. It's because the Lions are overrated.
Well, we're starting to see some kinks in the armor, and it might be some truth to that. But I'm thinking another one of those division games. They normally get up for these division games, especially that AFC North. Those guys get it on. And tonight, Green Bay plays as well. I was going back to the AFC South. Everybody in the AFC South lost yesterday. Now it's up to Tennessee to try to salvage a win tonight, in their Monday night game. 2 Monday night games tonight? What's up with that?
I don't know.
Green Bay playing against the Giants. You have Tennessee playing against the Dolphins. And, of course, the Dolphins are the double-digit favorites. But, man, if they lose tonight, which is probably the likely case in Dallas, that means the entire AFC South would have taken an L. And I looked at the Indianapolis game yesterday, and I think about Gardner Minshew. I've always said he was one of the best backups in all of football, which I still believe because of the willingness to embrace his role, knowing it even as a vet, and still willing to give way to a rookie quarterback and still help him, unlike Joe Flacco. And they lost yesterday, and they were looking good at one point. But I guess the Jags looked good at one point. Indianapolis looked good at one point. We thought that the Houston Texans were trending right with their rookie quarterback doing this thing. And all of that's now coming down right now.
Yeah, maybe CJ hit that proverbial wall. But speaking of Joe Flacco, I guess he played well yesterday, but now they're saying he has a contract issue. And my first thought is, a contract issue is better than no contract, man. Get your ass in camp to practice. But
yeah, a contract issue. What kind of contract issue?
I don't know. That's
Bro,
what
the season's already started. What's up with this?
My cousin told me. I didn't get a chance to look into it, but first thought is, again, a contract issue is better than no contract.
Man.
But maybe, they signed him for minimum or, league minimum or whatever. He went out and balled out and he thinks he's worth more. I don't know.
Joe freaking Flacco. We already know he's
you talked about it last week, I think, when you mentioned him not wanting to be a mentor.
Yeah, to Zach Wilson.
To Zach Wilson. He's a jerk. So
he is.
I think so. Maybe that's not a surprise.
Well, man, so now he thinks he has the team where he wants him so he could pull this kind of nonsense. Man, but you know what? He may be able to. You know what? They'd do the same to him if he was on the other end. Teams do that to players. I guess if players have the opportunity, they can come back and put the franchise in the crosshairs and try to make things force their way or force their contracts to look better. I mean, look at yesterday. You had Tampa Bay playing the Falcons. I mean, you would think two bad teams, but they're all fighting for the NFC South. What's the deal with this crappy ass scenario? 29-25, the Buccaneers win, coming from behind to beat Atlanta.
I don't know.
Two bad teams, by the way.
So a couple really good divisions in both leagues, and then a couple really questionable divisions in both leagues.
Yeah. We might see another year of sub 500 teams going to the playoffs.
Yeah, but did you see how the Ravens won yesterday?
I didn't see how they won, bro. I was a little worn out yesterday, but I didn't see how the Ravens won.
Yeah, you had that mini marathon.
Yeah, man.
They won on a punt return.
I heard about that. Yeah, I didn't see it though.
Yeah, they won on a punt return. That was a good game at the end. I was watching the Bears. Bears were in control, so I flipped over to the Ravens. And the Ravens had to go down and score. They were down 4, or I don't know. They scored a touchdown. They're up 1. Then they got the 2-point conversion to go up 3, which was key because the Rams were able to go down and kick the tying field goal to go to overtime. But then in overtime, Ravens went 3 and out. Rams went 3 and out, but the Ravens returned the punt for the touchdown. So that was an exciting ending. But it was a little melodramatic because like the last 3 minutes of regulation were furious. Both teams going up and down the field to get into overtime. Then you got a 3 and out and a 3 and out. So I was like, oh man. So the punt return was right on time because I was like, oh, this ain't gonna end in a tie, is it?
Oh, yeah, right. See, the Rams weren't even supposed to be a good team this year, and they're turning out to be a solid team, a surprising team, even though they're now losing. They're still surprising and giving better teams a run for their money. This was a road game coming all the way from California to play over in Baltimore.
Oh, the weather was bad, too. It was rainy and
typical Baltimore weather this time of year. Christmas around the corner, cold rain, it rain at all.
Rams punt returner bobbled a couple punts. He's lucky Ravens didn't recover them.
Man, but Lamar Jackson, I didn't see the game, but looking at his numbers, he didn't start off well, but he got it back together, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. And I know people still want to throw shade at him because he doesn't have a high completion percentage, at least with consistency, but he gets the job done at the end of the day.
That last drive was impressive. And the touchdown pass to Flowers, he threw a dart. Even on the 2-point conversion, they sent him out wide. It looked like he was going to try and run it, but then just before he was about to get tackled, he fired it to the corner. Flowers caught it by the sideline. He threw another dart. Man. He has a good arm.
Oh, his arm has never been a question. His decision-making had seemed to have been the question in the past. And regardless of what he does, there's always going to be someone out there that says that he's just a running back who just throws the ball. I think at this point, he's kind of proven otherwise. I don't think in terms of just a pure passer, I think he's up there with the elite. A decision-maker, probably not with the elite, but with the combination of what he does with running and throwing the passes at the most opportune moments, I think that's what makes him who he is, and the reason why Baltimore could move far or move along, to a pretty high place in the playoffs or even getting into the Super Bowl because of it. The reason why I had gotten them or picked them for the AFC side for the Super Bowl, along with San Francisco on the NFC side.
Right, where they have the inside track to home field advantage with 3 games left. Or is it
Yeah,
4
so
games?
I don't think they'll blow it,
4
man.
games.
It's a good organization, man. You know, it's hard to believe, man. 17 games now with 4 games left. A whole month of football still remaining for just the regular season. Then you're getting into this playoff
What's
run.
crazy, and I never agree with this, but you know, when they show the playoff picture and they got like 9 teams in the hunt, they got the Bears in the hunt. The Bears are 5-8. Come on, man.
Bro, there's a possibility. You add that extra game. You look at the division games.
There's 7 teams ahead of them. Come on, man. Are they really in the hunt?
I guess with the division games, man, beating Detroit, that's a division game. It's always going to come down to your division.
But what are the chances they end up 9-8?
I mean, in the hunt,
and
it's a guarantee.
End the season with a 6-game winning streak. The Bears,
well,
not gonna happen.
Devin Hester might come back. You're right. Yeah, I mean, the way things are now, because of the extra game, I mean, that extra game shouldn't mean that much, but it probably does, especially with your division games. What you do in your division really matters. I'm thinking if anybody's going to be a disruptor, it might be Green Bay with the way Jordan Love has been playing. Man, this guy's shown the most improvement from a quarterback from the beginning of the season to right now than any quarterback I've seen this season. And this includes even C.J. Stroud, because C.J. Stroud just started off on a high level. And now he's regressing. And that's pretty much a proverbial rookie wall. So that's acceptable. But yeah, man, I think that the NFC North is getting a little bit more interesting because of the scenarios that look like they may play out. Detroit probably not being as good as they thought they were. All they got to do is continue to play to prove that they either are or they're not. And then maybe the Bears probably sneaking, but Green Bay, I think, is going to be the biggest opportunity at a disruptor.
You would think the Lions had a big enough cushion that they don't blow up.
That's what I was thinking in the early going. They're doing Lions things now.
They're overrated, man. So I don't know who they have left on the schedule, but I'll probably check it after the show because the Packers have been playing better. You mentioned
a lot better, man.
And you know their defense was always pretty good, you know, but they had offensive issues. If they got those offensive issues worked out, they got it working right now. Who knows?
Yeah, they do, man.
They go on a run. I'm pretty sure they probably have at least one game with the Lions left.
Yeah, that Jordan Love, man, that guy, bro. I mean, I'd expect him to get this good that fast. It's just that from the first game I saw him against Chicago, and then I saw him just a couple of weeks ago, and it was so noticeable how much better he was decision-making wise, getting the ball to his receivers, the quickness of his release, all of that. I was like, damn. Now I'm not going to jump on the bandwagon and say, damn, Green Bay's done it again. Brett Favre for all these years, then Aaron Rodgers, now they fall into this. Now I'm not going to get there yet, but shoot, I'm liking what I'm seeing now, and if the progress continues, it has to end somewhere. And if they're winning like this, it's going to end somewhere on a high level.
I hope not. I don't like the Packers.
I bet you might add. I don't think any Bears fan want to see that or hear that. But
we'll see. I think Bears got to go to Green Bay.
Yeah.
One game.
And now how about Denver playing the Chargers? I mean, once again, Justin Herbert didn't look good.
Herbert's out. You got to make the Broncos the favorite.
Yeah, but I mean, the Broncos. The Broncos are a better team. They're looking better. It's not just that everybody's falling in front of them. They're looking better. You know, Peyton shut his damn mouth, and things look like they're kind of going in the right direction. These guys got some momentum. They did lose last week, but they won again this week.
They're like the turtle, slow and steady. Slow and steady.
Yeah, slow and steady, and they're trying to win the race.
The rabbits running out of energy, and it's coming back to the pack.
And the Kansas City Chiefs, man, they're a receiver away from receivers, plural, from dropping passes, from losing games that actually matter, and Denver kind of being there to take the win. I mean, this is a whole ridiculous season the way it's going. But yesterday took the cake.
I don't know if they can do it on the fly. They may want to revamp their playbook, limit the passes to the wide receivers, get Pacheco out, out in the flat more, or maybe screen.
He got a shoulder injury right now, but he's not hurt that bad. I think he'll come back after this game. He'll be back next week. But yeah, Pacheco, man, I think one of the most underrated running backs. Even though people see him playing the way he plays, this guy runs with some type of anger in him, man. And then
I'm just saying they got to feature anybody but the wide receivers. Limit the passes to them scrubs, man.
But the wide receivers, or at least catching the ball, is the reason why we know Mahomes for who he is. he can't just rely on Travis Kelce, who's been getting banged up from the beginning of the season. He still hasn't overcome that ankle injury.
Plus, I
That's just
think he's
impossible.
lost a little bit. When he catches the ball, he's not as elusive. He doesn't go for as many yards as he used to.
It's almost like Gronk. After a while, when Gronk was still making plays, you can still see Gronk wasn't flying like he used to fly and looking fluid, and that just happens.
Yeah, he's on the tail end of his career, so
exactly.
That's
And
to be expected.
another tight end I thought about was Jason Witten. Same thing. I looked at him as the same guy. When he got older, he was just catching the ball and kind of getting the yards and kind of going down. He wasn't really fighting to get more yards, and he just had the short hands, fell down. And by the way, another tight end on the subject, Frank Wycheck passed away. The tight end, the old tight end.
Really?
Yeah, I saw that yesterday, man. Had me come out from the kitchen into the bedroom to watch it. Like, wait a minute, Frank Wycheck passed away. I think he was 54 years old, not even an old dude.
Wow.
I don't know how or why they didn't mention it, and I didn't look it up. But damn, Frank Wycheck, you talk about a name that's a memorable name. If you watch football, that's him.
Right. Motor City Miracle.
Yeah, man. I was tripping yesterday over that one. I was like, man, Frank freaking Wycheck, man. You hate hearing stories like this. It reminds me like years ago when I was covering media and I came to the press room of a Jaguar game, came to the press box of a Jaguar game, and they had Reggie White on the freaking screen on the television. They had a bunch of televisions inside the room. And I looked up there like, man, why do they act like he died? Because they had a date of birth and date of death. They act like he died. You know what I mean? I don't know what the hell I was looking at. I'm thinking probably look at the years that he played, but it's actually the years that he born and the year he died. And next thing people was like, yeah, he died. I'm like, are you kidding? Freaking Reggie White? Yeah. Of all people. Yep, I remember that like it was yesterday. It's craziness, man. But Frank Wycheck, man, too damn soon, man. The guy was, I think, 54. Anywhere in his 50s, man. The guy's gone. And he made an impression on the NFL while he was there, though.
Yeah, too bad. Rest in peace, Frank Wycheck.
Yeah, man, that's craziness, man. So what's going on? Talk a little bit NBA right now. The Lakers win the in-season tournament. AD just absolutely crushes it with 42. But LeBron, because of the way he's played throughout the tournament, gets the MVP. We need that Price is Right sound piece.
I didn't even know there was an MVP for it. I saw that they had the all in season tournament team. I'm like, really? It's like the Maui Classic or something. Are we really the all in season team,
bruh?
I mean, I get they're trying to draw interest, and there has been more interest. Guys have been playing harder.
They have.
I mean, but now we're creating new awards. Come on, man. Please.
Now,
miss me with that garbage.
I guess, it's something to keep the NBA fans engaged until, the unofficial start of the season, which is Christmas with their triple header or even quadruple header now. When that gets going, and then football kind of trying to work its way to the Super Bowl. Baseball's already gone. Basketball's taking over. They're trying to set it earlier. But I think they had enough good games before the tournament to where things were looking good from the beginning with the NBA, with all the moves that were made.
Yeah, like the first week of the season, we talked about how the schedule makers got it right.
Finally, yeah.
Really good matchups. Boston and Milwaukee on opening night.
Yep.
That was a great matchup. It's all about scheduling, No one wants to see the Spurs and the Raptors on a Wednesday night.
Hell no.
Right? So it's all about the schedules. But the Spurs and the Raptors have to play eventually. So I get it, but
But they can do that in private. They don't have to show everybody that damn game, especially right now.
Maybe I don't know if this even makes sense, but schedule the bigger matchups prior to Christmas. And then the games after Christmas in January and February, they have playoff implications. Maybe they're not big matchups, but they have playoff implications.
But they want that huge game on Christmas, the triple header they normally roll out there with, or even the quadruple header they may roll out there with. They want that to be the marquee matchups that's going to really kick down the door for the NBA going into the season, knowing that everything else around them is not going to be as hyped up as it is. Yeah, people are going to always watch football. They're going to watch it until the Super Bowl comes. But basketball, as popular as it is, you get those huge games up there. Those are the games they want to really start the season off to let you know, okay, the NBA's here.
Right.
But I tell you what, man, I saw a meme. I don't know if it was a meme or a legitimate question. They asked who was the better player. Was it John Stockton or Chris Paul? I took John Stockton.
Yeah, I would take Stockton as well.
Yeah, man. I mean, you had some nice debates going on about it, so no one was really getting out of pocket with it. But yeah, man, I was like, I don't think you could have any shame.
If for no other reason, Stockton was an iron horse, man.
Yeah, I'm about to say that.
There was no playoff runs where Stockton's hurt again.
Dude played every game.
Unfortunately, that's the narrative for Chris Paul.
Yeah, right. You can't rely on him. You knew exactly what John Stockton was going to be. The guy had missed a game at 15 years? That's a lot of damn games. Basketball we talking about. Going up and down the court. Man, and he played with a businessman's attitude. He was as good at his craft as he was. You never heard a damn thing about him off the court. Just a dominant player.
I think what hurt Stockton was he played in Utah. Yeah. So a lot of late night games. So not everybody watched him. They heard of him. They knew about him. But like even me, I wouldn't stay up for a lot of Utah games.
That's true. But he's only one time zone away from you. Central time zone. He's one time zone away in the mountain time. Bro, that Utah area, I went out to Utah, man. That underrated freaking city, bro. I was like, the first time I went there and I saw the skyline and all, I was like, why would an NBA player leave this, man? But, they have their reasons and whatnot. But damn, that's a nice-ass spot.
But being the basketball freak that I am, I knew about Stockton. And like I would have debates with my friend. Who are the best point guards? Man, one night we stayed up arguing till we went out to the bar, came back to my house, and we sat on the porch till 7:30 in the morning arguing about basketball.
Who the hell were you out there with?
It was me and my friend.
Man, just one dude? Got to be multiple guys.
The one friend I always reference, the toe guy.
Oh, yeah. I guess he will put up a fight.
That's my homie. But I knew about Stockton, and I'll take Stockton over Chris Paul.
Yeah. No one was coming out of pocket, like I said. They weren't just saying, oh, man, how you be so stupid to take Stockton? Nah, no, Stockton's legit. I don't think that – I haven't heard
I was always going to say, like, if you watch his highlight films, there's nothing flashy, no flashiness to it. It's just
did his job.
Fundamentally sound. He was so fundamentally sound. Perfect bounce pass, pick and roll, perfect bounce pass. You leave him open, 3-pointer. Perfect bounce pass, leave him open, 3-pointer. But he had big shots too. He bounced the defense. Yeah, it led the league in steals so many times. People didn't like for when he guarded them. He was too tough. They call him dirty. But you got the Pistons over there, elbows and throwing people down,
punching people, clothesline.
What Stockton was doing was not even in the same ballpark to what the Bitchtons were doing.
And of course, John Stockton is the one who put the Gonzaga squad on the map with their basketball team. And for a while, he was the only guy to come out of Gonzaga in the NBA. Now you have a litany of guys flying into the NBA. Not everybody's good, but the latest one, Chet Holmgren, really showing he's a special player this year so far. But man,
I'm surprised you didn't ask me why I called them that.
Call who? The Bitchtons? Yeah. I assume because obviously the way they played, the way they acted like that out there.
Okay.
Oh, the Bitchtons. Come on, man. If you watch them play, you're being nice by calling them that. Dirty asses. Oh, come on now. Bad boys. Those convicts. Come on.
Yeah, you can come at me too in the comments if you want. I'm gonna come back at you. Please, please do so. Please come at me.
People are starting to warm up in the comments now with some gibberish. But hey, most people come with legitimate intent and even some good debate, but then the others just say things because oxygen's free on that day. So they decide to use it. That's about it. How about Bronny's son? LeBron's son, Bronny, played for USC yesterday, losing to Long Beach State. I think he scored 3 points, 4 points. I mean, I wasn't expecting a lot from him. I was just glad under the normal circumstances he was out there able to play.
Right.
I mean,
right. That's what I was thinking. I was glad there was no incidents or
that's what I'm saying.
no
No
reports of
craziness and
him
whatnot.
struggling.
And for people who thought, man, he didn't get enough time to play, bro, he don't need enough time to play. Coach is going to know better as time goes on if he's able to handle the load or not. He's watching him in practice, and he's going to be watching with some serious kid gloves, man, because, hey, anything can happen in basketball. Man, I keep, even right now, getting chills just thinking about what's his name, Hank Gathers, man, to see how he passed out in that court. Still remember that. So, like, bro, I don't need to see that all the time or anytime.
I have to address something, man. I belong to a Dr. J group on Facebook.
Yeah.
And someone posted images from Dr. J's movie, The Fish That Saved Pittsburgh. And it said, the question was, who did it better, Dr. J, Michael Jordan, or LeBron James? Now, being the basketball fan that I am, I don't need to look into it or what are they talking about. I know they're talking about movies, The Fish That Made Pittsburgh, Space Jam, and Space Jam Reboot, Space Jam 2, whatever LeBron's movie was called. So Dr. J's character in The Fish That Saved Pittsburgh, his name was Moses Guthrie. So I comment, Moses Guthrie all motherfucking day. I get a bunch of likes, some hearts and stuff. And then one guy comes at me, who the hell is Moses Guthrie? So I say,
always one of those.
You don't know Dr. J if you don't know who Moses Guthrie is. And he comes out to me, were you there when he did this? Were you there when he did? I was there.
Always someone like that.
And then he said, go to bed, little boy. I owned you. I'm like, man, the only thing you own is a closed mind.
Shut it down.
I said, no, I also told him, Google it, and then you'll find out who Moses Guthrie is. So he thought I was saying Google Dr. J. Why would I tell you Google Dr. J? Google Seriously? Moses Guthrie, dimwit. Anyway, he's coming at me, and I go back at him, and he's like, I still don't know who Moses Guthrie is. Like, well, that's your fault for not Googling it. Why? I can only lead you to water. What I got to tell you?
Did he spell it right? Moses Guthrie.
Come on. I said, it's funny that you don't even know that this post is about movies. Because I told him, watch the movie and then come back and apologize. And he said something about, oh, you go watch your Netflix. You don't know.
Too much pride, man.
Dude, are you serious? Come on, man. I just can't stand people that don't know anything, act like they know everything, and then trying to insult you while they're telling you they know everything.
That's online pride, man. Online pride comes before the fall, and we get that. But yeah, man, I mean, shoot, I haven't even watched the movie or even heard of it for that matter. But you know what? And I like Dr. J as well. You know, we watched him all. We're at the age where we were able to watch him live, playing on TV or whatever the hell he played. But man, for somebody, he probably didn't want to admit he didn't know what you were talking about. You know how it goes, man. When he doesn't know the reference, he doesn't know what he's talking about, or doesn't know what you're talking about in that regard. He just can't say I don't know, so he has to come at you with some nonsense.
But even the images the guy used for the post are images from the movie. He's not even in a Philadelphia 76ers jersey. He's not in the New Jersey Nets jersey. He's in a Pittsburgh Pisces jersey. You're serious? And you don't know who Moses Guthrie is?
When the hell did that movie come out?
Probably like 1980, 81. I don't know.
Way early.
Yeah. I mean, you go watch it now. It's cheesy, but Kareem's in it. Norm Nixon's in it. The guy who played Show Enough in The Last Dragon, he's in it. Yeah, Show Enough. He played a character named Jamal Truth. Melalart Lemon was in it. It was, I mean, when I was 9 years old, 10 years old, whatever age it was when my brother took me to watch it.
Yeah.
It was badass. But you watch it now, you like I said, it seemed kind of cheesy, but you gotta remember 1980, man, 1981. Yeah, right? There's no CGI and all that.
Special effects and all that craziness going on. Yeah, today's movies, obviously, just like 50 years from now, those movies will make this one look like black and white movies.
Right.
And finally, for the night, since we're going through the sports realm, boxing happened this past Saturday. Not a whole lot to talk about, but just the pure dominance of what Devin Haney was able to do with Regis Prograis in his first move up to 140 pounds. I mean, remember, he's been at 135 pounds since he was 16 years old because he turned pro down in Mexico where they allow you to go pro at 15 and 16 years old. He couldn't do that in the U.S. So he stays at that weight all these years. He finally just kills himself making weight for the past 4 or 5 years. Now he goes up just a little bit, but he still could probably make 147. I wouldn't put him in with boots just yet, but at 140, looks even stronger, looks freaking sharp. 120 across the board, including a knockdown in the third round against Regis Prograis, a power puncher who thought he had something extra to offer. Oh, okay.
Yeah, we talked about it on Thursday, right? That
Yeah.
Haney was too fundamentally sound. His technique was too good for Prograis, and Prograis had to make it an ugly fight. Get inside, make it rugged, rough him up. And from what I saw, he either couldn't or wouldn't even try to do that. That was the only way he was going to win. There's no way he's going to outbox Haney. He don't have the skills, and Haney showed that Saturday night. Prograis was outmatched.
And I think Paulie Malignaggi, if you watched his YouTube channel, he talked about how Devin Haney's the master of distance. And he knows how to use the distance. He knows where he's at. When I used to train the boxers at the UNF Boxing Club, I used to talk about the geometry of the ring. And we used to really get that. I used to always say, you guys are college guys, man. You should know about the geometry of the ring. And I used to always, use that as an analogy in different parts of the ring and where distances and how all that stuff goes. Straight line, obvious things, straight line, the shortest distance. And it seems like Devin Haney has that in spades. He's one of these boxing geniuses. And right now, we look at him, we look at Shakur Stevenson, and now you think about Tank versus Devin Haney now. How does that fight look after you saw against Prograis? Now, Prograis isn't Tank, but he has that power to be deadly, and it never landed.
I don't think Haney fights him. I don't think so.
Because he doesn't want to fight him, or because Tank won't move up?
Because I don't think Bill Haney will let him. I don't think so.
I don't see anything because he took care of this southpaw.
I think it would be like a winner take all fight, and if he lost that one, I don't think they're about that. I don't think Bill Haney's about that.
Oh, no. They're all about the money, man. All of them. And they should be, because it's prize fighting. Get the prize, but that prize will be going to one person if you really believed in yourself. But if you put those two together after what you saw last Saturday, or if you just watch the highlights, what would you?
I'd give the edge. I'd give the edge. I'd make Haney a good favorite, maybe 3-1, because as you mentioned, he's a master of distance. Mm-hmm. And with Tank being the shorter fighter, usually he's counterpunching. He's not going to have Haney coming forward too often, coming out. So Haney's not going to give him those openings to land the crazy uppercut or the hook. But Tank does have a lot of power, so if he lands, we've seen Haney hurt before.
Yeah.
So I feel Haney could box his way to decision, but you can't count out Tank either.
Yeah, at the same time, I look at Tank and what he does from the waist down, being shorter as he's been in most of his fights. He does have that footwork, and he can close distances with those short legs. He can be unpredictable, and he's also a southpaw who's skilled. He doesn't get a lot of credit for his overall skills because they fell in love with his power. He has good speed, if not great speed. I remember when he and Tevin Farmer were going back and forth like they were going to fight, and you saw how he was working with his fast hands. He has those fast hands. Those fast hands bring even more power. If he could really close that distance because he just herky-jerky from the waist down and can do that against Devin Haney, well, we've seen Loma do that, close that distance and make things ugly, and that's what gave him the problems that he had against Loma. I think Tank can do a lot of the same, and if he lands, we know things can get difficult, but Tank would be the one moving up, and Devin Haney now more of a natural weight for his age right now may be able to take that power too, and he has more power. Based on what I saw last Saturday, that right hand landing the way it did, man, a hell of a counter. Dropped him with some good power behind it.
Yeah, I didn't get to watch it live. I saw the highlights. It looked like Prograis his feet were in mud. He looked like a fish out of water. He didn't know what he was doing. He had no plan.
Yeah, Haney just has that good of footwork. When a guy like that who's a plotter who hasn't been boxing for a long time, he's an older fighter, but Devin Haney, he's getting into his prime. He's not in his prime yet. A lot of these young guys aren't in their prime. Tank, I believe, is in his prime. But still, if he's going to fight Devin Haney, he's going to be the one moving up. He's losing even more of an advantage with the height and now the power because most times that kind of power doesn't continue to travel. It'll go up a weight class, but does it go up 2 weight classes? And Devin Haney now feeling strong and not killing himself to make weight may make it a lot more interesting with his boxing skills, which are unquestionable. So now,
I just don't think Haney, Mr. Haney, Bill Haney will be conceding too much in negotiations. And, you know, Ellerman and those guys, Ellerman or Ellaby.
So the alphabet here.
I combine Heyman and Ellaby. You know, they say Tank's the face of boxing, so they're not going to give up shit.
But you know what?
I just don't think they'll be able to work out a deal.
But we've seen Devin Haney in the past take the lesser money or take the B side just to make things happen.
And that was for old Lomachenko. Then not for
but you know what though?
Tank.
But in his own rhetoric, you heard him say, if you listen to him, he said, you know what, people know that Tank is he puts butts in the seat pretty much. I'll paraphrase. He puts people in the seats. People know who he is. I'm becoming that guy. By saying you're becoming that guy, you're admitting that you are not that guy yet. What Tank is, maybe he would be willing to acquiesce. Not something ridiculous like a 7-30 split, but a 60-40 wouldn't be too bad either.
Maybe. I might be wrong. Who knows? I really don't think Bill Haney wants that.
Well, we'll just speculate until that finally gets into some type of a negotiation.
You think
get some steam.
Like when Tank fought Garcia, it was pretty much set up for all the marbles, right?
Yeah.
I don't think Haney wants that. I don't think he wants that.
I think for now we can just wait and see, because that's going to be a heck of a matchup when it finally happens. All of these young guys in practically the same weight classes, and now with Devin Haney continue to grow with a lot more room for growth, possibly ending up at 147, but he has unfinished business or business period at 140. He took care of Regis Prograis, who's not an elite fighter, just a damn good fighter, easily dispatched of him. And he's going to move on from there. We'll find out who he's going to fight once he makes the decision to fight. He's biased. I'm Trav. The Sports Bag Bros podcast is signing off. We'll catch you again tomorrow. Deuces.
Peace.